I'm going to turn this into this. If you want to see how I did it, stick around and find out. What? Yeah. Okay. What am I doing? Okay, the name of the game today is Cork Coasters. I was walking around the dollar store and these cork coasters caught my eye. I got the idea that I wanted to make some kind of street bases. And these cork coasters come in all shapes and sizes. I'm not sure what'll be available to you, but go and have a look. And if you can't find any coasters, you should be able to find some cork sheet. And I'll do one to show you how you can use that. Hey Cork Coasters, if you're listening, I'm open for a sponsorship. Round one. The round one. Yeah, let's start with this round coaster, and you can already see it's got that nice texture on there. And just checking it out with a car. This is about as small as you want to go. About 90 millimeters in diameter. I wouldn't go much smaller than this. What we're going to do now is just rough it up with our fingernail. Start to get some nice texture on there. You can use a brush. Can you see that? Enhance. Maybe a little bit. Right, anyway, I want to add some more damage to this, like potholes, but we're going to have to get a better idea of where a car would be driving. Just gouge out a bit here. Looking good. That'll pick up nice detail later when we paint it. Time for some magic. Black magic. Yeah, the ubiquitous black magic craft technique of Mod Podge and black paint. And I'm just going to coat everything with a nice stiff brush. Make sure the Mod Podge gets down into all those little nooks and crannies. The good thing about using a stiff brush is that if the Mod Podge starts to pool, you can kind of scrape it out of the cracks. Next up is round two. The big old square with a hole in it. I'm going to use a spoon this time. There we go. That's given us a lot more texture than we had before. And now I'm just figuring out where I want the road itself to be. This was probably a mistake. The hole ended up being right in the path of the road. But that's okay. Now all I'm going to do is scrape off the edges. And round three is our cork sheet on MDF. And for this one, I'm going to rip it to give it some cracks in the finished product. Just trying to keep it random, ripping it into small pieces. And we'll glue it on with some tacky glue. Okay, good to go. Look at those cracks. That'll get some of our goop as well. And there's a little bit too much on there, and I'm going to blot it off with a tissue. And here we go. Our three bases are nice and dry. Mix up a dark gray. Bonus points if you can tell me what this package is from in the comments. Bloop, bloop, bloop. We'll take our black and gray, mix it together, and we have a nice asphalt color. Blotting off the extra. We'll get it on all three of these guys. Starting to look nice. Okay, the next step is dry brushing. I'm going to use this light gray, wipe most of the paint off, and dry brush all over that texture we made at the beginning. Get a bigger brush here for a bigger tile. Be sure to hit those details around the cracks, really make them stand out. And the biggest tile of all. I went heavy on this one. I'm planning on adding a little bit more weather since this road is a bit torn up. And now we need to outline our road. Masking tape, regular, and some Tamiya thin masking tape. And first I'll pick an arbitrary line, give it some width of about 2 to 3 millimeters. This will be the edge of our road. And I'm going to measure out 57 millimeters, a number I decided looks good at this scale. You don't have to use 57, but you do want to check that it's parallel. And this one looks ready to go. This will be our center line. And to give it that dashed look, instead of a solid line, we'll put down our thin masking tape. If you don't have thin masking tape, you can cut smaller strips out of the regular size. More on that later. Okay, now I got some very nice opaque white here, and I'm blotting it on all over those stripes. You can see the nice effect it has here on the edge. But our center line needs some yellow. I put it over top of the white to give it more opacity. And there we go, starting to look good. And for the next one, I want to do a double line down the middle. I'm going to take this thin masking tape, which is already thin, and slice it right down the middle to give us an even thinner tape. Make sure it's nice and straight down the middle. This center tape could have been a bit wider. You'll see how it turns out in the end. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe and check out all the custom creations I make. Alright, let's take some of this tape off. Oh, you can see I didn't push the tape down enough. And for the last one, I'm going to go a little bit abstract on this one. The idea that I had was maybe like a parking lot or stop sign area of an open road. I end up putting a thin line on the side and a thicker line coming at a 90-degree angle. Don't overthink it. Just wanted to imply a parking lot or a wider open road. And we'll dab on our white. No yellow on this one. And the best part, unmasking. There we go. There's a little bit of bleed out there. You gotta be sure to push down your tape. Okay, now this round coaster still needs the shoulder taken care of, so I'll use this awl and scrape off kind of in a random pattern. Give it that cracking, crumbling shoulder of the road look. Sand. Let's remember the 3 sizes of sand. Small, medium, and not so medium. Well, this one here is the small size, and we'll apply that with some PVA glue. Tap off the extra, and that's looking nice. I wanted to put some sand and dirt in these potholes as well. Remember, this is our heavy weathered road. Spread it all over there. There we go. Okay, looking nice. Next step is going to be watered down PVA. Couple drops of brown, drop of beige, drop of red, black wash. Mix it all up and let it soak into that sand. This does 2 things. It gives us our base color and it also seals everything in with that PVA. Wanted a bit more black wash on the road area. And of course I'm drying everything with a heat gun. Who's got time to wait for paint to dry? Alright, weathering powders. Especially on the big one here. I put plenty of this ground up pastels all over. And we'll dry it out. Alright, looking good. Stay tuned for some glamour shots.